We are live. Hey, hey. Hello, Jessica. You're on mute right now, just so you know. All right. Just going to quickly say hi to people in the chat. I've seen Little Homestead by the Beach, Marilyn. Melissa from Little House in the Big Woods. I've seen Rambling with the Broom. Scott is here. I don't think there's anyone else here for now. I see 4 people watching though. I'm gonna give them a couple more minutes with the introduction. Sometimes they have advertising, and they can't always skip. So I have a special guest tonight, which is a good timing, I'd say, because it's pretty much starting season. Well, not starting season because foraging starts early in the spring for most of the people. But it's a time of the year where there's a lot of stuff coming out, and I have an expert with me, Jessica.
Hi, Rob. Thank you so much for having me. My name's Jessica. I'm with Enchanted Mushroom Forest. I've been a forager for my whole entire life. My mom raised me, teaching me how to live off the land, and some of my first memories are picking mushrooms with her. And now I get to teach people what's safe and what's not safe, and frolic about the forests. And I'm actually doing my very first wildcrafting class this week where I get to teach people how to make stuff with what we find in the forest. I'm really, really excited for that, and I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure, really. Hello, Robert, Homestead Aquarius. Thank you for being here. I was telling you about the competition I'm in just a few minutes before we went live. Homestead Aquarius is my captain, so I have to do good by him. I have to make him proud. So I was telling you that you can go fishing, hunting. You can grow food in your own garden. People know about the blueberries, the wild strawberries, and stuff like that, but there is so much more in the forest that we can go and harvest. So, is there anything you would like to tell us from someone maybe like me that's never done any foraging at all? Where should I start?
Well, you would start by finding out what's in season right now. Like right now, if I was going to go out and pick stuff, service berries. The service berries are going crazy this year. It's a berry that not a lot of people know about. It's not popular like a strawberry or a raspberry or a blueberry. Honestly, it should be though, because in my opinion, it's even more delicious. But the trees are just loaded with them. They're also known as June berries, Saskatoon berries, shad bush. They're very, very delicious, and I've never seen as many as we have this year.
The Saskatoon berries, I've seen them. I think they look pretty much like blueberries, except they grow in a tree, right?
Yep, it looks like a little purple blueberry on a tree.
Okay, that would make sense. And you do a lot of mushrooms harvesting as well. That's the one that I've always been scared of because I was in the woods. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, we're Friday. So 2 days ago with a friend of mine that's kind of used to, well, she's been doing it for 3 years. I think she's on one of your groups there. Her name is Marilyn. And she was showing me one of the mushrooms that is a chanterelle lookalike, but it's not a good one. And she's like, you see, if you touch like under it, like you can feel the little, I don't know what you would call that. They're the little, not waves, but whatever, under the mushroom. And you'll see that if you take a real one, it feels completely different. I'm like, okay, so that's good to know. I get at her place after because we didn't find any. And she's like, okay, see these? These are the real ones. And I looked at them and they're like, exactly the same. I'm going to kill myself if I go out eating mushrooms.
Well, there's a phenomenon. It's called mushroom blindness because so many of us are used to foraging for plants. The differences in plants are much more obvious. The differences with mushrooms are more subtle. And if you don't know what to look for, your brain will actually trick you and tell you that 2 mushrooms look exactly the same when they don't. We call it mushroom blindness. However, the good news is that once you've been shown where the differences are and what they are, it becomes so glaringly obvious to you that you wonder how you ever mistook those mushrooms for each other. Also, it is really, really important to note that mushrooms have a bad rap. They have a really bad rap. Like, don't look at the mushroom, don't make eye contact with the mushroom. You know what I mean? But mushrooms are actually much, much safer than plants because there are no mushrooms that can hurt you just by touching them. And there are a lot of plants that can hurt you by touching. There are no mushrooms that can hurt you by touching. You can touch all the mushrooms. It's the same as with any wild food. Just don't eat it if you don't know what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I would start by saying to everyone in the chat and everyone watching this later on, don't eat anything that you're not 100% sure what it is. It took me a long time to actually just figure out what was the right fiddlehead to pick up. To me, that was a big step because I know, like, I don't think there's any out there maybe that could kill me, but it could make me very, very, very sick. And there's nothing I hate more than being sick.
Yep, absolutely. To my knowledge, there aren't any deadly ferns, but there are some that can make you quite ill. Um, there are definitely deadly mushrooms, but most of the mushrooms that you're not gonna want to eat are going to be ones that make you sick. That's another reason why mushrooms are safer than plants. And again, I'm not saying go out and eat random mushrooms, but there are many more safe mushrooms than there are safe plants, percentage wise. Many more deadly plants than there are deadly mushrooms. I think 1% of mushrooms are deadly. So
Okay.
that's another popular misconception. And again, I'm not saying like take your chances and eat whatever mushrooms because that can be really, really dangerous. But the misconception is that most mushrooms are dangerous, and that's just not true.
I'm just going to say hi to Danny from Cajun Hydroponics, Kim in, Pathways Homestead, and Ren's Homestead, Jack and Lindsay. They're both on their own account, so you might see Ren's comments not fitting with each other because they're both writing comments on their own, so it's kind of funny sometimes. Um, so I don't know if you answered that question, but how long have you been doing this?
Oh, I've been foraging for 32 years. It's my whole entire life. Um, Mushrooms, I was only like a really casual mushroom hunter. Up until about 3.5 years ago, that's when I really, really got into it, and they kind of sucked me in.
Cool. And you see some videos sometimes about, like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I see some videos about people that can go out, drink a bunch of different teas, eat a bunch of different plants, make a meal, and you're like, okay, like I wish I could do that. And I guess the best way to start is from, getting information, finding the right people to teach you, to show you the stuff, because it's one thing to look in a book. Like I have a bunch of books here, this can be a good one maybe, but if you're not sure, you need someone to show you. You need someone to identify the plant for you, and from there, it's easier, I guess.
Yeah, that is one thing that I usually say in my classes when you're unsure and you're just starting out. Hi, Homestead, where you are. When you're just starting out, it's really, really good to have real people verify your IDs. And whether you do that, in one of our beautiful New Brunswick ID groups, or whether you do that directly with a person, a book can't tell you if you're wrong. So it is really, and we live in an age right now too where we have that crazy ability that we can just go online and there's experts just a message away who can help.
Hmm. And like, there's a lot of people on here that are not even from Canada. There are some from New Brunswick, but there's other people from the States. Um, would you give them the same recommendations as you would give to people in New Brunswick?
Yep, I sure would. There's pretty much a mushroom ID group or anywhere you could imagine, and I'm in a lot of them, so you might see me there. But there's international ID groups, mushroom identification is one of them, mushroom identification page. A lot of these groups are on Facebook because the mushroom community on Facebook is massive. We're talking about millions and millions of people. But you can also find a great community on Reddit. You can also find a wonderful community on Mushroom Observer and on iNaturalist. There's mushroom identification enthusiasts pretty much everywhere.
Awesome. So my next question, I guess, would be, how much of the stuff that you forage do you actually eat in a week? Like, what percentage of your diet do you think it would make?
Um, at this stage, it's not as high as it could be. I have a habit of collecting and preserving and then just having it around the house. I could probably boost it's probably around 20-25% right now. I could boost it up a lot higher. I'm trying to learn how to fish and hunt this year, but I do have a really large stock of preserved uh wild foods that I'm planning on putting to more use this winter.
Well, 20 to 25% of foraging. I mean, that's impressive.
I,
Considering the amount of food that we eat in a week, it's still pretty
I have a
amazing.
I have a lot of friends who are at like 75 or 85%. So I'm just like, oh man, I gotta get my numbers up.
Wow. And it's crazy because, like, I was talking to a friend of mine, and times are difficult, and I mean, I'm not different from anyone else. I was looking at my budget last week, and I'm like, okay, after paying my bills, I have like $20 left for my grocery for this month. I'm glad I have a mom there that could get me out of trouble a few times. But at the same time, there's so much food out there. Like the people that were living here in the early 18s or 1900, they didn't have orange or lemons from Florida. They didn't have, the food came from here. So they had their own apple trees, maybe, and their own strawberries, but they had to be eating something from the forest. They had to, because otherwise they wouldn't be here. Um, if anyone in the chat has any question for Jessika, don't hesitate. I want to say hi to Jerry that just came in. I think I saw Homestead where you are. Thank you very much for being here. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. Um, okay, so you're also offering a course, to which I registered, and I'm pretty excited to learn about that kind of stuff. Can you tell us maybe about the course? Is it something that you could give to someone, maybe not from the States because it would be something different than what we have here, but maybe from someone on the Quebec side, maybe it'd be pretty much the same?
Actually, I can do the states too. I taught somebody from Virginia. I'm working on my Pacific Northwest species. They're pretty different over there, but I'm a mushroom identification junkie, so I'm like all over the planet with the mushrooms. In the wintertime when the mushrooms in North America are all gone, then I'm in Asian groups and Australian groups and African groups looking at their mushrooms because I need to look at fresh mushrooms in the winter, otherwise I get sad. But yeah, I'm doing a mushroom. Well, it's not even just a mushroom identification program. It's an all around foraging program. So I'm just teaching people as much as I can in the next couple of months. I'm taking on maybe 6 to 8 people, so we only have room for a couple more, but we're gonna do a lot of learning on some of the really awesome choice edible species of mushrooms that occur in the summer. And we're going to be learning how to make some remedies and some cool foods. And I'm really excited.
Nice. So you're also going to be doing some one-on-one sessions, right? That's what you were telling me. And um, you're in what part of the province? You're down south somewhere, right?
Yeah, I'm in Moncton.
Okay, you're in Moncton. So she's not going to be coming up here to do one-on-one sessions with me, uh, per se. Like we're not going to go take a walk in the woods together, but I'll try to go somewhere where my cell phone has reception, and you're going to be able to teach me that way, right? That's the plan.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a virtual walk.
Is there any? No, I'm going to start my question again. What percentage of the plants that we have in the area would you say is edible compared to what's not? Is it like a 50-50, one out of two is edible, or is it even more than that?
It really depends on the area. I've visited areas where most of the plants are toxic, and I visited areas where most of the plants are either edible or medicinal. But I'd say on average, at least half or more than half. A lot of the plants that we consider weeds are not actually weeds. They're good edibles and medicinals. A lot of our invasives we can, excuse me, we can eat. It's pretty amazing. One of my favorite things to do on in the beginning of a walk is to kind of do a 360 of where we're starting the walk and say, I see this many edible and medicinal plants just right here. How many can you guys name? And everybody's always blown away by just how much there is.
Yeah, once you get to know the plants, like it must. That's where I want to get. I might never get to the point where you are because you've been doing it for 32 years. You said, but right now on my break, when I go on breaks at the hospital, I work at the hospital, and whenever we go on break, my colleague follows me, and we go for a small walk next to the woods, and we look at the plants and we try to identify them. I have my little cell phone in the apps, and I'm like, okay, this looks like this, but not sure. She started eating. They're called dewberries. Is that how you pronounce it? They look like raspberries, but um, closer to the ground. And she loves it. And we're right in the parking of the hospital, just on the edge of the woods, and there was a bunch of partridge there earlier yesterday. So it was kind of cool. It's kind of fun. We go around, harvesting some chicory roots. People look at us like we're crazy. Pineapple weeds right there in the parking lot. We made a tea, pretty good. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I want to learn. I want to learn, and I want to be able to teach other people here. Um, what else could I ask you? Um, hmm, what's your favorite? If it wasn't for mushrooms, because you seem to be in love with mushrooms, is there anything else around here that you would suggest people to try to identify and go find because it's very, very, very good? Like the best edible food in the forest right now.
Plant and mushroom or just plant?
Maybe do both. I know mushrooms is probably the morels.
Morels are only out in May. So generally here in New Brunswick, I should say, we only get morels for about a month usually. Right now for mushrooms, it's chanterelles and lobster mushrooms, which also happen to be really safe mushrooms in as much as if you're actually taking the time and looking at the features and looking at the lookalikes, there isn't anything deadly that looks like those two mushrooms. So they're
Right.
really, really safe. As far as plants go, I am a big fan of self heal, Prunella vulgaris. It's a wee little purple flower that grows on lawns. It's got beautiful alternating opposite leaves. It's a good food source. You can eat it, and it's a really amazing medicinal plant, and it's growing everywhere right now.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
plantain is another really good one. So you can use it as a food, or you can use it as a medicine, and it's good for a really wide variety of things. That's the leaf. The little green leaf with the long flower spears. So
Yeah.
versatile. You can use the flower spears like you would use asparagus, bake it or boil it or steam it. And the leaves you can
Plant
use in
it?
salad. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
right?
Like I knew it
Yeah.
had medicinal purposes, but I didn't know about the little tip that goes.
Yeah. You can eat the leaves, cook them like a spinach. You can dry them and powder them and use them for smoothies. It's good for wounds on your skin. It's good for your stomach. It's good for your gut. It's good for your kidneys and bladder. It's just really, really great herb.
Cool. I'm looking at the Prunella vulgaris that you were talking about. I have some in my garden, and it's funny because Marilyn was actually looking for those when we were in the woods, and we found some, and she was like, "Oh my God, there they are!" And she started picking all of them. All of them. Um, how would you cook them or use them?
Well, right now, what I'm doing with my self heal is I'm collecting a whole bunch of it and I'm going to dry it and powder it. And I'm going to mix it with a couple of others and I'm going to make a smoothie powder. So it's
Okay.
just going to be a generic powder that I use. Now, watch out, guys, because there's a few different things that look kind of like this. They're little cone flowers that are purple. So here the leaves are key. So take a look at the shape of the leaves and the way they're exactly opposite, and then they go back and forth. That's how you're going to know that you have this guy for sure. Um, you can also just cook him in garlic and butter and salt and eat him. He's pretty yummy, and just super, super good for you. He's called All Heal or Self Heal or Heal All because literally he's got benefits on almost every major system in the body. So he's really wonderful.
Cool. That's pretty cool. Have you ever tried cattails? Probably.
Yeah, I have. I really like the inner core of the shoots. And I've been collecting the gel too. I want to make stuff with the gel that's in between the leaves.
Okay.
One of my goals is to use the pollen, but I think I'm a little late for that this year, but maybe next year.
Awesome. Hello, Hanny. Thank you for being here. I am looking at the chat a little bit here and there, but I'm so interested in that kind of stuff that I don't want to miss anything. Um, what else have I tried? I tried wild mint, but I have mint here. Um, I've I've seen tea with what was the name of the tree again? Well, all kind of pine needles and spruce needles and stuff like that. There you can make teas. I've done. What else have I seen? Hmm. I remember when I was in grade six. I think I went to summer school for for survival in the woods, and unfortunately, I had an accident where I cut open my finger and I had to leave on the second day. But one of the things I remember is they were talking about different things you could eat in the woods. Now, there's those little plants that are heart shaped that would look like clovers, like three leaves, heart shaped. I don't know what they're called, but I know those are good.
That's wood sorrel, and that's one of my favorites.
Okay, cool. Hello, Marshall. There's a few more that I remember. Um, there's one that grows on the ground. Um, it looks almost like a centipede, but it's a plant, like a bunch of small leaves. It goes like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Um, you would probably see it and know what it is. Um, oh, that's the one that we were talking about, Magadan. There was also, what else did I remember also when we were kids, you know those purple flowers that grow on your lawn? They have those little peas, pods, the tiny ones. We used to eat that, but I found out a couple of days ago they're actually very, very, very poisonous.
Yeah, they are. That's called veg.
it's insane because it grows everywhere, and
Yeah.
people have been eating them, but it's not good.
Thankfully, I think our species that we have around here is only mildly toxic. Because I have heard a lot of people who ate it when they were kids, but there are other species of veg in other places that are quite toxic.
I found some sea peas on the side of the beach. Are those edible?
I've actually never seen a CP. It's on my list of want to see plants.
Okay. There's a couple growing. Well, I went for a walk with Marilyn and her boyfriend, and she brought us to the beach, and they have Saskatoon berries, they have blueberries, raspberries, roses. So I want to go there and get some rose hips and try to do some jelly. Um, what else did they have? They have those. I think they had common wheat next to the beach. They also had Cadbury's, little tiny berries. I don't know. I've researched on them on Google. It says that we don't really have any poisonous around here, but some of them are better than others. Um, what else? I had something in mind. I forgot. I'm gonna say hello to people just came in. Kalpona 8319. Thank you for being here. Saying hi to each other. Okay, we used to eat sea purslane in the Bahamas, salty but wow, so good. Cool. What else did I eat lately? Was something else? Uh, I'll just forget about it then. Um, so, if you got lost in the woods, what would be the first thing you would do?
That's a really great question. That's not something I think about a lot. One of my biggest fears is getting lost in the woods. So I would probably look for a water source
That's
and try to follow it. And yeah. I think I saw somebody say something about Clintonia borealis in the chat. That's a really great forest edible. The berries are toxic. It's known as a blue bead lily. So it's the one that has the big tall stalk with flowering yellow flowers and then the blue berries that look kind of like a peach. But yeah, the leaves of that plant are really delicious. I would probably munch on those. They're really common in our forest. I
okay.
haven't tried cattail tubers, but I'm really, really curious about what they taste like. This was my first year eating cattails, and I stuck with just the shoots for this year. But I do really want to try the tubers.
What would you say is the easiest thing to differentiate? If I went tomorrow at this time of year, if I went for a walk in the woods and I wanted to bring in a lot of food, what would be the easiest thing to find in this time of year?
This time of year, um, it's berries. It's berries right now. The berries are what's I think in the most abundant state right now. So you've got your blueberries, your service berries, your strawberries. The raspberries will be ready soon. They're already somewhat ready. Wild raisins um, are coming up a lot. Really, really abundant, the wild raisins this year. And beaked hazelnuts are also um, pretty widely distributed.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I like to think of early summer as like berry and nut season.
Yeah, for some reason you say that, but up here, we strawberries are gone, and raspberries and blueberries are not even out yet. We're like in a 2 3 week span where there's no berries at all.
Really, the berries are going crazy here. I've never seen so many berries in my entire life. Oh, bunch berries. Oh my gosh, bunchberries are everywhere.
Bunchberries, never heard of them. A lot of people are saying water would be their priority, shelter also. So you'd be able to get lost in the woods, and you'd be able to eat for a long time.
I mean, I could eat. I wouldn't be the best at building a shelter. I could probably like jumble something together, but that's not something I've done a lot of work on. But it's definitely something I want to improve in.
Creekside saying the tubers from the cattails are like potatoes. Oh, I think you're frozen. Are you there, Jessica? Uh, I think we lost her. You could also dehydrate them and grind them into powder. Nice. Uh, oh,
I'm
you're
here.
back.
Can you see me? I can see you.
Yeah, you're back. All right.
I'm here.
Mushroom. What's your question, Annie? Mushrooms. There's a lot. Are there any mushrooms ready now? Well, I guess there are in your area, but I don't think there's any up here yet.
Right now we're seeing a lot of chanterelles and a lot of lobster mushrooms. We're also seeing hedgehogs starting to come out,
Okay.
and those are just the more popular, easy to ID mushrooms. If you're willing to go a little deeper, there's a lot of other stuff fruiting right now. The brittle gills are fruiting, the blushers are fruiting. Those are more advanced mushrooms. But yeah, um, the mushrooms really only stop for a couple of months. You can find mushrooms in the winter when it warms up, but like January, February, March, there's not really a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
apart from that, if it's a warm winter, the mushrooms can be pretty good almost year round.
Yeah, not up here because we only have snow. I think the only mushroom I know is shaga, and I have one upstairs. It's been in a cool, dark place for about a year and a half, and I'm still hesitating if I should use it or not because it's been so long.
As long as it's dry and it's in the cool and dark, it's fine. It'll last for years.
Okay, cool, good to know. Take care, Robert, if you're still here. Thank you for dropping by. Red clover is filled with energy. The flower head is great to boil and make a tea. Very sweet and good source of natural energy. So you're talking about the flowers. I've seen a video about a guy. Uh, what did he do? What's it called? Uh, Barter. You put it like a. I don't know. You fried it anyway. I have to look at the recipe. Don't remember what he did. Is it time for mushrooms? Yeah, Annie is in the Quebec side in zone 5, in the growing zone 5, so she's advanced from me anyway. Probably the same climate as you, so it's probably time for mushrooms there as well.
Yep. July, August, September, October are really the prime mushroom months. For the rest of the months that we discussed, you'll only find a couple of species. But once July, August, September, and October roll around, that's when we start to see a lot more variety and a lot more possibilities.
Cool. We don't have any cattails growing around here anymore. They have to keep the ditches clean due to flooding. Oh, that's too bad.
I do have to go now, Remy.
Okay.
Is there anything else before I go?
If you want to invite people to join your course, maybe you can just send a shout out to whatever you're doing and how they can reach you, maybe.
If anybody would like to join my group, I have a Facebook group where I talk about mushrooms and do videos on mushrooms, and you can find all the information on my courses there. The group is called Enchanted Mushroom Forest Walks, and my name is Jessika Gauvin. You can find me there also. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed talking to you.
I will put the group in the right here if people want to join. I think that's the one. Well, thank you very much for dropping by, and I can't wait to hear from you again and start learning some more about the mushrooms and all the other edible stuff we have around here.
So, in yes, thank you so much for having me. In the chat, somebody asked about chanterelles. In my group, I just did a big long informational post about how to ID chanterelles, where to find them, and all of that. So if you want to go look in my group right now, there is going to be a gigantic long post about them and where you can find them.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye, guys.
All right. Take care. Well, that was interesting. Would love to find a good spot of chanterelle. They are so good. The good places are already taken. Yeah, I don't even know where to go to find them yet. My friend brought me for a drive Wednesday. Marilyn, not Marilyn, Marilyn, and her boyfriend's name is Remy as well. They brought me into one of their spot, and there was none yet. It's a little bit too early around here, but it will hopefully come up soon. That is great to know. We have been looking as we drive around. My 6-year-old wants to grow some at the house. Cool. Probably talking about the cattails, right? You'll have... So I posted the link for the Facebook group if you want to go join and learn some more. I'm gonna try to make a few videos about different kind of teas that we uh, that we can make that are very cheap and easy to find. As you've seen in my previous video, I've done the chicory tea or coffee. Some people call it coffee with the roots. I'm gonna do the same with mint. Mint, I have some at home, but it's also growing in the nature. We'll do a lemon balm. Well, it's pretty much the same thing. So I might just do like one video and do both of them at the same time. I want to do the dandelion tea as well. I think you can make tea with rose hips as well. And there's also what else that I want to try? Hibiscus. Yeah, I don't know much about the hibiscus, but I'm willing to try anything as long as it doesn't kill me. Okay, so I purchased a couple of books in the last few years. I am going through them now, and I find it pretty cool. This one here is from New York, so it's a little bit different than what we would have here in New Brunswick, but there are still some good stuff, good information in here as well. Um, this one here is doesn't say, but from what I can see, it's they're showing a lot of stuff about the plants that we would have in our area as well. Um, I have it saved here because they're showing how to make blackberry wine, and from what I can see, it's very, very, very easy. You don't even need to have um, like all the equipment and stuff. You just need to have a few bottles and just a few tiny things. So that would be great for me to try at some point. Me being a hunter, I have a couple of books from that collection. Some of you might probably have seen those books around. It's a total survival guide in the forest. This one is in French, but it's also available in English, and it shows what to do if you ever get lost in the woods, how to build a shelter, how to make snares, um, how to eat, what to eat, how to cook it, how to protect yourself. You know, if you kill an animal, um, there's different ways that you can butcher it. If you don't have the right tools, it's still possible to butcher it. Yeah. I just ended up on this page here. There's a lot of light. Let me just put the light down for a second. Showing all the different kind of manures you can find in the woods to identify the animal that's around you. That's disgusting, but at the same time, it could be some good information if you wake up the next morning and they're all showing the tracks. Also, I just love this book. There's a bunch of things also in here about edible plants. Um, I've been looking for information on edible plants for a long time now, and I'm just happy that I found Jessica and that I'm going to be able to follow her course. Thank you very much for dropping by, Annie. I will probably talk to you later. I'll go back in the comments. Okay, rose hips, great flavor and wonderful for your respiratory system. Nice. We have that book. Yeah, one of the three there. Yeah, they're pretty nice to have. I keep saying, we have all the information we want on the internet, but if something happens, even if it's just that we don't have any electricity anymore, a book is a good thing to have on hand. I made a mint tea one time, put too much leaves in it. My heart was pounding. That bad? I know the mint tea can give you stomach issues. I had to stop drinking it, but I love the chamomile tea and pineapple weed tea. They're pretty good. Rose hip is very good. Just got the rose that produces the hip. Can't wait. There's so many wild rose trees around here. I that's the kind of thing that will never grow here because there's just too many around. I will keep my space to grow some more other stuff. Blackberry wine is great. You need to do a how-to video on that. I'll try it if I can. Well, I don't have any blackberries at the moment. Um, I will try to find some, and hopefully we'll have enough blackberries to make a video in the future. I want to try it first. I need to have the blackberries, try it, and then if it works, do it. If you want to buy those books on Amazon, remember to use Hermes links if you're a Canadian, I think. Yeah, I have it. I have a video somewhere where I'm talking about all my books. I can probably put that in the description at some point. Take care of it wasn't. Oh. Okay. All right. Marshall, you wrote something, retracted the message. All right. Um, anyone's got nothing better to do than come up here with me, you're more than welcome to join. I can put the link in the description. Copy the clipboard. If anyone wants to come and say hi, we can keep talking about foraging. It's amazing when she said that she's doing about 20 to 25% of all her food from what she forages. Like, wow, that's a big amount of food. I mean, I use about 20% of what I have in my garden, or I should say, my garden is about 20% of what I eat in a year, roughly. To think that I could add another 20% with foraging, that's insane. That would be amazing. I'm planning to go, like, as soon as I started her training, I am hoping to be able to go and forage some mushrooms, other plants. There's so many different things around here that we can eat, and it's just a matter of finding out which ones. I suppose it's a big amount of time to forage too. Yeah, it is. But I mean, you can take a day off your garden and go for a drive in the woods and harvest some stuff. Thank you very much for dropping by, Marshall. Have a great weekend. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go and do some work outside too. My blueberries were still green Wednesday when I checked. I didn't check them yesterday, and today I got home and they're almost too dry to eat. Like they're purple blue and they're about to fall off the trees. the bush. It's insane. We've had extremely warm weather, except for last night. For some reason, we were supposed to get heat waves. I go to the beach to try to go and fish some striped bass. The tides were just getting high around 11, so we figured, we'll go there around 7, fish until 10:30, 11. The waves were so high. The wind was crazy. Marilyn did her first live stream and she wanted me to go on with her, but there's no way that she could hear me. All right, so nobody's talking about anything right now. We've got a few ripe blueberries this weekend. Yeah, take a good look though. Look often because mines are all ready now. I'm gonna have actually to go and pick them up after I'm done with the stream. Um, from one day to another, it can be too far, like too late. It's crazy. Uh, and blueberries. I think there's a couple of places up here. I don't know about you, Renz. I don't know if just because you just got here that you maybe don't know all the places yet. But I can go spend a day in the woods, and I can easily harvest about 20 gallons of blueberries in a day. When they're ready, oh yeah, easily. Still has cap season here. Blueberry will be later. Okay. And you told me your ass caps were planted about what 6-7 years ago. I planted mine. I think it was 3 years ago, and I just have like 2 or 3 berries right now. Hello, Amanda. Thank you very much for being here. You missed my special guest. She had to go. She had other plans for the night, but she gave me some good information. She seemed very at ease in front of a camera. Amazingly, some people for first time when they go on a live stream, or maybe it wasn't her first time, but some people will be shy. But she had a lot of energy. I love it. I mean, it's gonna be awesome to follow her course. I'm gonna put the link again, just if someone wants to. Okay, people are commenting on the link already. So for people interested in learning about the mushrooms, that's a Facebook group that I posted right here. It's controlled by my guest from tonight, Jessika, and she just posted a big not article, but a big text about chanterelle mushrooms. And there, thank you, Remy, for having me on your live stream. That's awesome. So I'm kind of talking to myself and looking at the Facebook page at the same time. Highly recommended. She seems to know what she's talking about. I will definitely learn some more stuff from her. And the fun thing is, yes, I live about 4 hours away from her, and it's going to be hard for her to come up here and spend some time with me in the woods. But it's something we can do, on FaceTime or something like that. I just need to go in a place that I still have cell phone reception, and I'll be all right. And the thing is, she'll teach us or teach me, um, show us different things, tell us what to look for. We'll go out, and then we'll try to pick a few mushrooms and tell her what we think about the mushrooms, and then she'll be able to tell us if we're right or wrong, or if she might need some better angle or whatever. Sorry. So let's say this is a mushroom. I go to her and I'm like, okay, well, this is a mushroom. I think it's that kind of mushroom because of this, because of that, because of the color, because of the texture. And she'll be like, okay, yes, you're right. And that's the right one. You're 100% sure it's the right one. Then you can go ahead and eat it. I've never been a guy to eat mushrooms from the store, but I've heard that what you harvest in the forest is not the same thing at all. And I'm guessing it's pretty much the same thing with everything from your garden as well. So you can only imagine people that are hunters. Um, you hunt your own meat. It's way different than what you buy at the store. We'll have to get right into making blueberry jam jelly. Lindsay made a couple dozen jars of raspberry jam. Running some experiments to try to get the right thickness. I think we have dialed in. Awesome. Blueberry wine made, I think, in the Fundy Bay was so good. Nice. I think Marilyn was growing mushrooms. The only other people that I've seen growing mushrooms from home, I think it was Jason from Sow the Land, if I'm not mistaken. I had one mushroom a few weeks ago in the food forest. Even if it was edible, it smelled so much like rotten fish that I would not try it. So you grew a wine cap mushroom. Awesome. Yay, we have spam. They are attacking me like crazy. I wonder if I can change. Um, can I change the settings during the stream? Let me just check. I guess not. Melissa, you're asking if it was easy to Marilyn? If it was easy to grow mushrooms? Mm, how can I set that? Okay, I guess I can't do it from here. Yeah, Marilyn, was it easy to grow mushrooms? Maybe from here. Oh, that's weird. Okay, that's kind of cool. I'm in my studio room and I have no idea what I'm doing here, but I'm trying to find a way to change the settings. Probably can't change anything until it's done or before I start, right? Uh, that's probably it. Alrighty. Okay, I'll be back. Really only need fresh hardwood wood chip. Put the mycelium on the soil, put the wood chip on them, and water a bit. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Your neighbors tried, did they succeed? You can buy mushroom growing kits from Bits and Pieces. That's where I've bought them from in the past. Awesome. I'm still amazed by the fact that you can go in the forest and forage for about 20 to 25% of your food. And um, she was kind of disappointed that it was all she could do. She said that some of her friends were up to 75% of their meals done with what they could forage. That's insane. If someone went out there to forage, that would be a lot of food for Shed Wars. That'd be amazing. A lot of companies sell mushroom kits. Cool. They didn't. They got a few. Okay. Well, a few is better than nothing, I guess. Um, so what else been going on for me? I am almost ready to butcher my meat chickens. I'm guessing if I can get things set up this weekend, this is something I would do next weekend. In my opinion, my chickens are currently between, well, the smallest one are about 4 pounds of meat. That's my estimate. And the bigger ones are anywhere between 5.5 and 6 pounds, maybe. And that's how I like them. My turkeys are growing fast as well. Guessing they're probably around like 8 pound of meat right now. They're tall, like they go up to my waist, their head at least. That's pretty cool. And the quails, well, I can probably harvest them whenever I want. So if something happens, I know I can go and harvest a few. I lost another baby quail, but I lost two babies so far. But out of the two babies, there were like four that had like a bad leg, like the legs were split, and two of them died, and two others made it and got better. But I think what happened is they're such small birds that it's hard to give them water, and as soon as you give them water, they'll try to go and drink, and because they're crippled, they can't really drink well, and the other go and step on them and they drown them. It's kind of sad, really, but that's law of nature, I guess, for them. Yeah, they're pretty good size. I'm pretty satisfied with the size because last night, I went fishing. Is it last night? Yeah, it was before I went fishing. Before I left, I got there and all the chickens were out. Well, not all of them, but half of them were out of their chicken run. I kind of got scared because I was hoping that I wouldn't be missing any. But that means, there's no predators around, which is another good thing. But I had to pick them up and bring them back in. And they were pretty like solid chickens. I was pretty happy with the size. Depends on the species too, Melissa. They need different medium to grow. Still talking about mushrooms. Remy, you can use a rubber band and a straw to help their eggs, their legs. Yeah, um, I've seen it. I know how it's done. I know what you mean. Um, Marilyn actually showed me a few videos as well. It just didn't happen that I had time to go to the store, and within the first day or two, they passed away. Um, but that stuff happens. All right, thank you for dropping by, Amanda. Take care. Our life. I want to look into it. Look into the mushrooms. If someone likes mushrooms, I mean, why not? Um, Anyone has planned during the weekend for the weekend? My plan is to go uh, tomorrow morning. I'm probably going to go on Sarah's property. Hopefully, you'll be there so we can discuss next weekend butchering plan. Anyway, start planning that because I need a generator if I want to do everything there. And he told me he had one, so he's going to have to be there for me to do my chickens there. And I'm not going to do the turkeys now, though. I'm going to wait a little bit longer. But the thing is, with the turkeys, I don't have big enough cones. So what I do is I just take a machete and I let them out one by one and hit them with a machete. Um, are the legs are the leg problems genetic? It is best to call them from the gene pool rather than fix them. I don't think so. Because I only have, well, I have 10 quails and I had 22 eggs in the incubator and 21 quails came out. So it's hard for me to say which ones was which. but I don't think it's anything genetic. It could be, but and the thing with quails, they take 56 or 58 days to reach maturity. So it's only 2 months, less than 2 months. So even if they're crippled, if they can make it and survive, I'm gonna eat them and put them in the freezer anyway. So it's not a big deal. Butchering meat birds in the morning, that's awesome. I I don't like to say that I love doing it because I don't like hurting animals, but I love the whole getting ready, getting prepared, the feeling of satisfaction you have once you're done and you have all your chickens in your freezer. That's amazing. I'm still at work for the weekend, but lots of plans for the weekend for the end of the next week. Okay, so you'll be back home. That's awesome. What big plans? You talking to me, Marilyn, or talking to Danny? I have four quails. Four quails? You're intent on eating the four quails now, or you want to get them to reproduce and have a little bit more? I I didn't expect the 22 eggs. I didn't expect all of them to hatch. So now I lost two. I have it's 19 or 20 quails that I have right now. Anyway, so I'm not sure exactly. I would have to count, but they're sorry. They're very hard to count because as soon as you try to count them, they tend to move around, right? And they're fast. Um, I also have, I think I had 10 uh, Chanticleer, partridge Chanticleer little chicks, and they were born the same day that my friend Kristin, that was on one of my live streams earlier, she had chicks born the same day. So I bought six from her. Four of them were Rhode Island Reds, and I'm just hoping that I have one rooster and at least one hen so I can put more eggs in the incubator on the long run. And I also bought two more because she only had four chicks. I didn't want to drive all the way there for only four. I wanted round number six is a good number. Yeah, take a picture and count them in a picture. That would be a good way, but they're moving so fast. I don't even think the camera can catch them. The two other chicks are silver laced Wyandotte. I never know how to call it. I never know how to pronounce it. But anyway, those will either be layers or meat birds because I'm not going to keep five different kind of chickens. Unless it was a male and a female, maybe I would keep them and let go of the Buff Orpingtons. But I'm really looking forward to find Buff Orpingtons. 23 meat birds. I started with 25 and I lost three. Two of them died from a heart attack. One of them was just crushed in the corner somewhere. I don't know. Cutting grass, starting new blackberry plants, and cleaning out raised beds. That's awesome. We are keeping 10. Ended up with 8 females, so keeping 2 males. That's a good number. I might just try that anyway, just to see if I can count them, or maybe put them in a small box somewhere and try to figure out how many I have. But the plan, I'm just hoping that they'll grow fast, and as soon as they do, um, I can bring them to my new spot, and I have a bunch of different cages there, so I can put them in their own cage, and you know, have them all there. We have a hen sitting on eggs. Yes, I currently have was 24. I had 4 more eggs today, so I have 28 eggs in my incubator right now, but they're all barred rocks. Because my Chanticleer right now, I have a broody hen. She doesn't want to get all of the eggs, so I'm not fighting with her. I'm just going to leave her there. She's broody anyway. She's not going to lay. Um, I figured I was going to try. The only question I have, I don't know if anyone in the chat has the answer to my question, but I have 2 hens and a rooster in the same chicken run. If they have chicks, are the roosters going to be a problem with the chicks? Or is the hen going to protect them and the rooster going to protect them as well? I've heard that the rooster can be good fathers in some situation, but I don't know if it's true or not. I have no idea. Pigs are already so big, only in 5 months. I want to have pigs again. I love doing pigs. I was only able to do them once, and they were small, but it was our first time. We didn't really know how to feed them. And last year, with everything that happened with the village, um, I had to get rid of them, and there was not enough meat on them for even bother. Only 5 months. Well, a big project. Grass takes a lot of time. Yeah, this time of year we have to cut twice a week most of the time. It around here, I think that it's so warm, and it's been a few weeks without good rain. If we cut the grass, it's almost yellow. It's not even green. Like it's probably not going to grow because it's too dry. Are you replanting your boxes? Hmm. That's why I don't cut it. Only at the autumn or on path. Makes sense. Depends on the space. The mama can kick their butts. Well, at least ours do. Okay. Uh, they're only, like I said, only two hens and a rooster. I think their space would be, if that's 16, uh, maybe 6 by 10. Maybe their space would be about 6 by 10. And I'm just wondering if I should give them a little nesting box. Right now they're in a corner, and they don't go in the nesting box anyway, so I don't know what to do. I'm gonna leave them there, and I'll see. I guess if the rooster is too bad, I'll know for next time. I have some more chicks in another cage outside anyway. We have to keep it down in town. In the country, if we don't cut, the long grass is a spot for mosquitoes to grow. Yeah, you mean she won't protect them, or she won't go in the nesting box? That's how I feel. I feel like she won't go in the nesting box anyway. Uh, I'm guessing I could also harvest a few quails anytime. I have a few rabbits that I want to get rid of also. Put them in the freezer, but they're almost a year old now. So I'm just wondering if I should uh, get them pregnant to have a bunch of babies and harvest them at the end of fall. I don't know if they would be too small. I had some in April, May, June, July, 4 months. They're almost ready now. So if I get them pregnant now, August, they'd be ready by the middle of August. September, October. Yeah, they would be too small. She won't go in the nesting box. Hmm. So, Marilyn, what do you do? Well, you have a nice rabbit pen, so I guess I shouldn't even ask you the question. But my problem is, I want to have more rabbits in my freezer, but I don't have more space. If they were all babies and I could keep them on grass for a while, I could put them in little cages and move them around on pasture, or just on my property around on the grass. But since in end of October, beginning of November, we're probably going to get some snow. I can't really leave the rabbits outside. So if I have babies, they have to be gone by then. And that would make them pretty small. I'm still questioning myself. I still don't know what to do. But it's funny, like when you start, like we were talking about foraging. When you start foraging and you start getting deep into that kind of stuff, and I'm not even deep. I'm just deeper than I was because I knew a couple of tiny things, but now I want to learn some more. You go for a drive in the woods, or even just for a drive in town or in the country, or just driving around, or just from here to work. I tend to look around and try to spot every single plant that I can and try to identify them and wonder if I can eat it or not. Well, they would be a good size when. Uh, the ones I have outside right now, they're being fed to the point where they don't even eat all their food, and they're also eating grass. And to me, they're still too small, and they're going to be 4 months old at the end of July. So they're probably 16 weeks right now. And to me, they're still too small. I guess I would have to try one. They just started breeding. I've seen one of the males get excited about his little sister. So I guess I should separate them for sure. But if I do, I don't know where to put them. And if I butcher them, I'm pretty sure they're way too small. Like I'd like to have at least 4 pounds of meat on a rabbit, but I doubt that they would be that big at the moment. What's the earliest you've been butchering them, Marilen? Give her a chance to reply. Hmm. Are you still there, Marilen? I'm waiting for your response. If you're not typing, I'm just talking to myself for nothing. Okay. Because rabbits are like human. They grow a lot very young. They grow while adolescent, teenagers, but after 4 months, they still grow, but not much. So your feed cost per pound per rabbit comes in play. So you're telling me that I should butcher them at 4 months. I should butcher them now. That's what you're telling me? They're not going to grow much more than what they are now for a little while. I'm just wondering. Like, I can give it a try. I'll go outside tomorrow and take a look at which one is the male. I'll probably see right away. And they will eat your profit. If I can weigh them and like if I can butcher them and see that I have enough meat, I don't mind doing it now. And if I can weigh them and they're at least 3 pounds of meat, like I don't want to butcher them and like needing 3 rabbits for a meal. You know, it wouldn't make sense to me because I got a big family. Yeah, we're a little bit later, but they will eat your profit. Yeah, always begin with the males. But then again, they're probably already done doing their things. So maybe I should do the females now before they get pregnant and lose their kits. They're probably too young to even know what to do with their babies when they come out, right? I don't know. You're the expert. I'm just a student. But I have 2 pregnant mamas right now that should have their babies by the end of this month. I got them together on the first weekend of July, on the 3rd. So it takes 2 rabbits for your family of 5. You got 3 kids or only 2 kids or more kids? Last time I did 1 rabbit, but it was a big one. It was a rabbit that was maybe like 6, 7 months old. Um, it was slowly cooked on the barbecue and it was delicious. And one was enough. Maybe yeah, just the males are more aggressive between them. Yeah, he was doing some weird stuff that I'm not gonna say on a live stream, but let's just say that this male might be gay. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna do the chickens next week. Maybe I'll try rabbit tomorrow just to see how big it is. They're so quick to butcher. The only thing is, the place that I use to butcher them is where the bee nest is right now. And yeah, I have a big bee nest in one of my old chicken coop. And the kids thought they got rid of it, but I was there today, and it's still like the size of a good softball, and there's probably like 100 bees in there. So I'm not really interested in getting um, stung by them. Okay, it's a dominance thing. Good to know. Females do it too. Is there a way to tell who's the boss? Okay, that makes sense. But he was active sexually with the females for sure. Um, so I don't really know what to talk about right now. I had a nice talk planned with Jessica, and unfortunately, she had to go early. But I will hopefully learn quick and be able to show some videos from what I found. And hopefully in the future, I'll be able to teach all of you a few more things about foraging. I've always been passionate about foraging. It's just that, like we said, if you can't be 100% sure of what you're harvesting, you don't eat it. But I will hopefully learn, and I'll be able to teach some of you. They begin early, but they shoot blank first times. But yeah, don't wait too much. Okay, good to know. So I will try to find the males, and yeah, okay, I'll try to get that done. If it's not raining tomorrow, I'll try some tomorrow. And do you process them a specific way to have the meat more tender, or like I know chickens, you put them on ice for 24 hours before you put them in the freezer, and you need to have them in the freezer for a few days before you can even put them out and cook them, so you can have a better quality in your meat. Would you do the same thing with rabbits, or you can just butcher the rabbit and put it straight on the barbecue and hope for the best? Like I said, you'll remove one male, and 5 minutes later, another one will take his place. Well, that way, I'll be able to see which ones are males and which ones are females. It's not a bad thing. Uh, so yeah, is it? Oh, I wanted to show you this shirt. Also, Marilyn did a live stream yesterday about the cat that she won, and oh, the other side. I got this T-shirt from Kitchen Garden Therapy. Uh, her name is Slava. Her channel is amazing. You should see the things she can grow in a small backyard. Here's the logo. I don't know if you can see it well. Yeah, gardening is my therapy. And the thing I like about this logo is not only is it her logo, but it's something I can wear in my garden, and I'm not necessarily promoting anyone in particular when I have this, because garden is my therapy. I love it. I am so happy that I was able to get one. Uh, we did not try to tender the meat in any way. Butcher and cook, or butcher and freeze without waiting. Okay, but you slow cook them, so all the meat is is done. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna stop it there. Been on for an hour and a half almost. Um, I didn't really have anything planned to say other than the foraging part. Um, Maybe just I'll end up by saying that if someone's watching this in the future on replay or whatever, don't hesitate to try to go and learn. Get some books, get some information, go on some social media groups. Find someone that knows the stuff that can help you identify the plant so you don't kill yourself. Um, and like she was saying, that she definitely thought she could do more, and she was doing between 20 and 25% of her meals from food that she was foraging. And she said that some of her friends had almost 75%. And I know there's a guy out there on YouTube, Rob Greenfield. He's doing a lot of foraging, and pretty sure he does a lot more than 75%. There's so many things in our backyard that's edible. Um, I mean, you think about people starving, but yet in their own backyard, they could eat for months and they just don't know about it. So I'm hoping that I will be able to learn and able to show that stuff. I don't think there's any channel out there that's really, really focused on showing stuff you can forage and how you can cook it and how you can use it. Um, so I might be one of the first to do it if I can go out there and do it on time. Um, all right. Um, have a nice weekend, everyone. I will get ready, get the coffee break ready for people that are in the coffee break on Saturday morning. I don't know if I'll be up, but I'll have it ready. If someone comes in, then they'll be able to get in without me being there. All right, take care, everyone. Thank you very much for dropping by. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon.